Hi guys, long time no see. It's been a while since my last video, and that was Crash Bandicoot, so it's been a long time. Things have been really intense with work, non-stop work, and it's just been really tiring and I haven't had the energy to make a video. But I want to get back into what I love most, which is talking about films, games, and other topics. Today's video, I want to talk to you guys about my Blu-ray collection. Some of these movies I've got, some are guilty pleasures, some are classics, some are comedies, some are horrors, action, sci-fi, you know it. I'm not going to go in depth with all of them though, maybe a 15-second review on all of them. PS4 games, Blu-rays, DVDs. I don't think I'll talk to you guys about the NRL ones because I don't know if you'll care about that. I've never done a video like this before, so I'm really excited to let you guys know what I think of these Blu-rays. Now before I go on, I just want to say thank you to all my viewers who watch my videos, and I'm sorry that it's been over a year since my last video, but I thank you for your support and I'll do my best. Alright, with all that behind us, let's talk about some awesome movies. The first movie on the list is The Naked Gun, one of the funniest movies of all time. Leslie Nielsen at his absolute best. Leslie Nielsen returns for the second film, The Naked Gun 2. One of the funniest sequels ever made. Really, really good. There's one scene in particular, I died laughing. It involves a wheelchair and a parody of E.T. It's one of the funniest scenes ever. I was in tears the first time I saw it. Good sequel. And wrapping up the Naked Gun trilogy is The Naked Gun 3. An absolute classic of a movie. It's a great trilogy, The Naked Gun movie. It's really funny. There's a scene where he's on stage at the end and he removes a woman's wig and then... it's hard to explain. It's a very funny movie and it's a great send-off for the Naked Gun series. 45 alongside with Lisa Sighting. I'll be back. The Terminator. One of the best sci-fi movies of all time, and in my opinion, Arnold Schwarzenegger's best performance. Excellent, excellent movie. Hasta la vista, baby. Terminator 2. What else do I have to say about it? It's Terminator 2. It's one of the greatest action films of all time. When I think of sequels, great movie sequels, Terminator 2 is always the movie that comes to my head. Not any other movie. There are great sequels out there, but this is the one that it blew my mind. The T-1000 in this movie, my favourite movie villain of all time for those who didn't know. T-1000, that guy right there, my favourite movie villain of all time. Such a badass movie, one of the greatest of all time. Rowan Atkinson stars in Johnny English. This movie came out in I think 2002, I think. It's really funny. It's not the funniest movie of all time, but it's definitely better than the sequels. People might be wondering what I think of the new one. One really funny scene involving a headset. It was really, really funny. Everything else I was chuckling, which is a bit disappointing. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Predator. Another great Arnold classic. Such an excellent film. Mixed with sci-fi and action. Awesome. The Avengers. Probably Marvel's best film. This is when Hulk wasn't a bitch. Sorry. Yeah, it's a great film. There are no strings on me. Marvel's Avengers, Age of Ultron. Really good movie. Did I like it as much as the first film? Well, probably not, but I still enjoyed it. I thought the villain was really bad. I didn't like the villain. I thought it was just a big cartoon, but I enjoyed the Hulkbuster fight. That was pretty cool. Avengers Infinity War. Pretty much one long action scene this movie is that had an ending that left so many people confused, but an excellent film. Doctor Strange was badass. My favourite superhero of all time, Spider-Man. I saw this movie way back in 2001. I really enjoyed it. I watch it now. I still love it, but it is a little dated and Power Rangery, but I still love it. You know what it's time for? Pizza time. I love Spider-Man 2. Such a great film. Really exciting and epic and awesome, and the action scenes are badass and just an awesome sequel. Then we got Spider-Man 3. Is it as good as the other ones? No, it's not. Is it a guilty pleasure of mine? Yes, it is. The start of the most epic film trilogy of all time. Lord of the Rings. It says right there, the best fantasy epic in motion picture history, and I'll have to agree, this movie is so epic on every level, and I haven't even got to the sequels yet. The Two Towers, a very excellent sequel, one of the best ever made. The final hour of this movie is just one big epic battle scene, and it's so awesome. A great sequel. And now the epic finale to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Return of the King. What an unbelievable film. What an incredible film. An absolute masterpiece of work. I love this movie so much. It's my second favourite movie of all time. I could talk all day about this film. The best of the trilogy in my opinion. The most epic film I've ever seen. Lord of the Rings. Greatest trilogy of all time. You guys might be wondering if I have the extended editions too, and yes I do. All three of them. Why do I have the extended editions too? I don't know. I guess I'm just a Lord of the Rings nut. Yippee-ki-yay, mother. Die Hard 4. I really enjoy it. A good action film. Is it as good as the other ones? No, but it's still a good fun action film. Lights Out. I've only seen this movie on a pirate copy. It's just the idea of the movie, the concept behind it, that really interests me. I haven't watched it since, but I'm looking forward to watching it again. Whoa! The Matrix. Such an awesome sci-fi movie. Great special effects and kung fu, and Keanu Reeves is actually really good in it. Excellent film. Knowing this movie is really excellent. I think it's a really underrated thriller. It's more of a horror thriller, but I think it's very unique in the way it tells its plot, and it's very creepy and spooky. And the performance from Nicolas Cage is, Nicolas Cage, but I think it's a very underrated horror thriller. It doesn't have the greatest ending, but could have been worse, I guess. Well, I don't know. In space, no one can hear you scream. Alien. One of the best creature feature films in space. Incredible special effects for its time, and one of the best survival horror movies I've ever seen. Incredible movie. Absolutely well done. Game over, man! Game over! Aliens. One of James Cameron's best films. James Cameron is such an incredible filmmaker. He just knows what he's doing, and he's so good at sci-fi. He did Terminator 2, he did Aliens, Titanic, Avatar, which not many people like, but I enjoy it. But this is a great film. It really is. It's a awesome film, incredible special effects, and one of the best performances by Sigourney Weaver. Amazing film. Titanic. In case you guys didn't know, this is actually my favorite movie of all time. Like, why is a romance movie my favorite movie of all time? It's not the story. It's so much more the ship and how it's brilliantly directed by James Cameron. The music, the effects, Celine Dion, that incredible song she sings, the drama at the end, brings a tear to my eye all the time. I love this movie. It's not so much the love story, even though DiCaprio and Winslet are really good in it, but it's just the story of the Titanic. And I've been obsessed with the story ever since I was a kid, and still to this day, my favourite movie of all time. War of the Worlds. I really enjoy this movie. If there's one thing in this movie I don't like, it's that little girl. She just whinges and whines and screams the whole time, and she just drove me nuts. Aside from that, I love the movie. The special effects are incredible. Absolutely amazing. Is it Steven Spielberg's best film? Not quite. I think that's Jaws, but this is still pretty good though. Really enjoyable. Then comes the Iron Man trilogy, which I love. You guys might be wondering which is my favourite. My favourite of the three, I feel that the first one's the best one, but I feel that the most entertaining one is the third one. The second one's not bad too, but it kind of grinds through the middle section, like the second half of the movie. And it's just a drag, that just drags and drags and drags, and I'm like, can something happen please? By the third act, I'm already out of the movie. But yeah, it's still a good movie though, still good. But yeah, that's my favourite, most entertaining, and the boring one. Get off my lawn. Gran Torino. I love this movie. Definitely one of Clint Eastwood's best movies. I think everyone needs to watch this movie, and there's a lot of comedy in it too, which is surprising. Clay with a Chance of Meatballs. I love this movie. It makes you so hungry, and it's just a very pretty movie with so many beautiful colours, and the comedy really works. Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and 2. Which do I prefer? I prefer the first one, even though the second one's like not too bad, but I prefer the first one. More fun. The second one didn't really feel like it had a climax, like it didn't really have an ending. It kind of sucked. The first one, on the other hand, was awesome. But 1 and 2 I really like. 3 and 4, they don't exist. Orphan, a very underrated horror thriller that deserves a watch. It's really good, and it has a really good ending. And also has a twist ending as well if you watch the other scene. It's on the main menu. You can look up an alternate ending for this movie, and it's quite thrilling. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Is it as good as 1 and 2? No, of course not. 1 and 2 are sci-fi masterpieces. This one, like when I saw it in 2003, I was really disappointed by it, but I was entertained the whole time. It's a very entertaining movie. It's never boring, but it is disappointing considering it's a follow-up to 1 and 2. When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I love this movie. It's a lot of fun, really good. First film I ever saw by Zack Snyder. I think the next film I saw was 300, which I also enjoyed as well. This is really good horror film, really scary, awesome zombies, and a whole lot of fun. Face Off. 90s action cheese, a really good performance from Travolta and Cage. Great action and awesome fun. Alright guys, we're getting close to the end. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake. The original I've never actually seen, but the remake I was really impressed by. It's very violent, very realistic, and very intense. Piranha 3D, I love this movie. It's one of my favourite guilty pleasure movies. It's so violent, so fun, so over the top, and so funny. I love it. It's just pure entertainment. I just noticed a weird spelling error. Look at that. You see that? It says Stong. Then we have Kick-Ass. Upon watching this movie for the first time in 2010, I didn't really like it at first. I felt that it was very dramatic, like it was more of a drama than a comedy, but upon rewatching it again, I love it. It's really great. Blend of comedy, action, drama. Really well done. 3 years later, Kick-Ass 2 came out, which I really enjoyed. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first film, but I still liked it a lot. I thought Mother Russia stole the show. But Jim Carrey, he should have been in the movie a lot more. He was kind of underused, but I thought it was a good sequel. I wish it didn't have so much shaky cam, but Mother Russia, again, she stole the show. She is awesome. Zombieland, one of the best horror comedies ever made. I'm a huge fan of demons, monsters, creatures, ghosts. I love all that stuff. And when I saw Ghost Ship, I loved it. Until the ending. You know, one of those endings that can just ruin a movie for you? Well, this is one of them, unfortunately. I'm gonna feast on your soul. Evil Dead, the remake. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people really hate this movie. I don't understand why. I feel that the characters are a little weak, like they're not really memorable. Only the Deadites are awesome. They're hilarious. Otherwise, a good remake. I feel it's a really good remake. Then we have Bruce Campbell's Gem, The Evil Dead, the original. I really love this movie. I like it more than the remake, only because the character's more memorable and it's more funnier too. Otherwise, a really excellent film. From one Sam Raimi movie to another Sam Raimi movie, Drag Me to Hell. I really enjoy this film. I don't love it, I'm not madly in love with it, but it's just one long roller coaster ride from beginning to end. It's so cool. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I'm sorry, I love horror movies. It says right here, the film they didn't want you to see. I can see why, because there's this one scene in this movie. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that are really violent, but there's one scene in particular that really grossed me out. It involves a hammer and teeth, and yeah, that's all I'll say. It's pretty effed up. The 2006 remake of The Hills Have Eyes. One of the best horror remakes I've ever seen. This is one remake I'd prefer over the original by a mile. A lot of heart and passion went into making this film, and you can tell. Sylvester Stallone's Rambo, one of the best action films I've seen. Like, it's incredible. Just one big action scene the entire film. It's so awesome. Time to float. I saw this movie last year and I really enjoyed it quite a lot. The original, I wasn't the biggest fan of. Like, it was very boring. The only scenes I liked was with Pennywise. But this one, it was never boring. It was very entertaining. Not really scary, but it was great fun. Bruce Willis in Die Hard, one of the best action films of the 80s. And you gotta love Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Such a great villain. And the final film on my list is Jaws. One of the best shark films ever released, and in my opinion, Steven Spielberg's best film. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Leave your comments down below, and thanks again for your support. I'll see you guys in the coming future.